back with another video. This one has been quite a while in the waiting because obviously I have not done a wrap-up since January. That has been the only wrap-up I've done all year, and I'm so sorry. So here we are again with another wrap-up, but this one is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to categorize them by months in which I read them, how many I read in each month, and also of course the rating and my review on it. We're going to do no different. It's just going to be a little bit of sectioning because I have quite a lot of books, but I do want to make sure that they're in the right month and categorized the right way. Here is all of the books I've read in the last 5 months, my review, my rating. Here we go. Let's get into it because there's a lot of books. I'm gonna go ahead and start with February because that is where we left off, guys. First and foremost, I have Haikyu. This is a Japanese manga. Technically it is also a show. I watched the show before I read the books. I just wanted to read the books for fun and see if it was the exact same, and it literally is the exact same as the show. So you don't really need to read the mangas unless you really don't want to watch the show, you know what I'm saying? So you can do either one. They're both the same. I gave this a 5-star because I really do love the show. It's just a show in book form, so if you really want to read this, you can, but I mean, I don't really suggest buying every single book and then already watch the show. I really do love Hinata and Kageyama. They are really funny to me. Like, they are literally so enjoyable to watch. They're like comedians to me. The whole squad is a bunch of comedians at this point because they're so funny. All I know is when I've watched the show, I've just literally cracked up every single moment. Like, it's just so funny to me. Everything that's going on is so high school of them and like high school boys act, and I love how they incorporated that. This is really how high school boys act, and they really put that in there, and I like that. So it was really enjoyable, quite fun. Now we have In 5 Years by Rebecca Serle. Now, when I read this book, I was going through a lot, okay? Let me tell you something. There was so many emotions going on in this book. There was some sadness in here, some relatability. At first, I was so relating to everything. What's her name? Danny. Like, I was relating to Danny in every way possible. Like, I was in her group. I was like, yes, girl. And then I wasn't, okay? Because I don't know what it is about it, but Danny just irked me somewhere between that like 99th page. I don't really know, but before we reached page 100, she got on my nerves and I didn't like her anymore. So yeah, I only really stayed for her best friend Bella. I loved Bella. I did, however, end up crying by the end of this book. It was tearful. I was in some tears, okay, because what had happened was, it was just so sad. By the end of the book, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is just so saddening. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's quite the time traveling novel, I guess. It's really nice. It's not that bad, but I just didn't like some aspects of it. I really wish they were done differently, and Danny's just kind of stuck up for me. She's very stuck up and too sophisticated for me, and I don't like that about her. So I didn't really like her character as much as I thought I would at the beginning. It just kind of went downhill from there. My rating was quite low. This is, I think, the lowest rating I've had. No, it's not. Actually, this rating of the book is 3, and I'm just only gonna stick with 3 stars. I'm not gonna go 3.5. I was gonna give it a 3.5, but I was like, no, I didn't really like the main character, so there would be no point. The only reason I really liked it is because of her best friend Bella. The next 2 books are in a series that you've heard about multiple times on my channel. I know you know. The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I read both of these books in February. I had no desire to read anything else but these 2. I did not finish these 2. I was gonna go through something mentally, physically, everything, emotionally, all that. I was emotionally unstable after I read the 5th one, so we all can tell. Like, I went on a downward spiral after I read this one, and then I was just like emotionally going after this one, and I finished it at like 1 in the morning. I think I actually calculated it on my Goodreads reviews. So if y'all ever want to see what my Goodreads reviews look like, go down below, click on that link, and go and follow me on there, because y'all, my reviews are so realistic I don't even play. So anyways, love the story. I will not say anything much more, okay y'all? I love the story, I love the characters, I love their bond, I love how their connection grew even more throughout these 2 books, more than it did in the first 3. There's 5 books in total, so I just would like to say that this is truly a good series to me. Like, the connection, the like emotion between their characters just makes me feel so happy, and the love they have for each other just gives me so much happiness. I was kicking my feet, giggling, like, oh my goodness. Of course, there was a bunch of angry moments. Ooh, there were so many angry moments. Like, I just really wanted to slap some people. But it's okay because Wei Wuxian, he sometimes deserved to get his behind kicked. But at the end of the day, everybody just kind of did him wrong, I would like to say. And if you are a part of this fandom, you know what I'm saying. Like, they did Miami Hands wrong and they knew it. They blamed everything on him and it was not his fault. And Lan Zhan was the only one to stick by his side. He was gonna stick beside him, okay? Every way possible. And this is true love, okay, y'all? Without all of the zombies and killings and like magic. But other than that, beautiful. Yep, so those are the 4 books I read in February. I finished the Demonic Cultivation series. I finished In 5 Years and Haikyu. So these were pretty good books. So this was a pretty good range for February, especially because it was like the season of love, and I hated Valentine's Day on that time because I didn't have a boyfriend then. Now I do, you know, so it's not as bad, but I was a hater, not gonna lie. But anyways, yeah, 4 books I read in February. So let's go ahead and move on to March. So in March and April, I only read 1 book each month. So I'm gonna go ahead and combine them into this section. So here's my March and April read. So in March, I read Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. This was a good book and I was literally swooning the whole time. I kid you not. Oliver, whatever he was doing it. Okay. Anyways, that protectiveness was getting to me, and so I was kicking and giggling and, you know, laughing the whole time. I love this. I was definitely swooning over every single thing in this book. I would like to say this is very, very fun to read, and there's some triggering things in here because Luke's father, I swear, he was irking my last soul in every way possible. You get it? I couldn't stand this man, okay? Whatever he was doing, he was making me upset, and so I just didn't like his father. But technically this is about Luke and Oliver. It's a fake dating trope, and so technically Luke is in trouble. Now Oliver comes in and they form an alliance together for the benefit of both of them, actually, and they get this little fake dating thing. And of course, with all fake dating, things get out of hand, their feelings get feeling, and so they catch feelings for each other and they try to decide where they should land with each other. And I love this because it was so comedic to me, like what was going on. I'm telling you, Luke is so funny. If you can't tell by the cover, this was set in London. Everything about this book was good, but however, there was some things I did not like. But other than that, I love this. There was some friendships in here that were really nice. I love the friendship group. And then in April, I read Carrie, Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was such an emotional roller coaster for me. I truly did love this book. I cannot explain to you how much I love Carrie. I cannot explain to you how much I love this woman's books. Like, she does it all the time. She knocks it out the park for me. Her literary sense in every single book is so good. Like, I don't know what she put in there, but she need to keep sprinkling it. Don't lose it, okay? Because I love it. Like, I love it so much. And the characters always feel so real to me. Like, it just makes me feel like this person is real, and if they were a real person, we would be all indulged in their life. I'm not even kidding. Her triumphs are what I admire, and her getting through them was the most beautiful thing about her. I will also say there was some really heartbreaking things in here. I was just like, oh my goodness, search up trigger warnings, guys. Anyways, she is a very strong young woman, and as she was a young woman growing up, it was some things that she had to go through. And of course, growing older, she had to struggle through like love and romance and being an adult in this kind of world where it's like sports world. So I just would like to say this was definitely one of those stories where there's a lot of challenge and a lot of reflection, and she truly had to go through all of those phases. Though there was some really heartbreaking parts in here, I would say this is truly an admirable character. I love this story. I cannot explain to you how much I love this, and I also just would like to say how much it was just an impact on some of the things I can tweak in life. You can take some things away from here and just know that it's amazing to go through certain things that will shape you into a better person. So yeah, I love Carrie's story. I ended up giving this book a 5-star because why not? So those were my 2 books, my March and my April read. Super excited. So yeah, that was my 2 books, my March and my April read. Love both of these books, and I would definitely probably read this one again and read this again for like a comfort read. I need that because I talk so much. Anyways, moving on into all of the 3 books I read in May. So first, starting off with Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. Guys, I have so much to say about this book, but I want to cut it short, so I'm not going to say too much. I will say for sure that this book was kind of like, what in the freaking world was happening here? Okay, because that was like one of the only thoughts I had every time. I was like, what the freak, what the freak, what the hell? what? Those were like quite literally my reactions half of the time anyways. And then like of course like there was some spice in here. There was quite some spice in here. So if you like spice, this is right for you. I'm not much of a spice girl anymore like that. I don't really like look forward to spice scenes anymore. This book was pretty good. I would say it touched on some very deep topics in certain areas. And I would say that this is a kind of an okay love story, I guess. I mean, it's a cute little love story if it was written better. Like there were some moments I was just like, this definitely could have happened differently and this could have been written better. And so I felt kind of disappointed because so many people talked about this book like it was the end of the world, like it was a lifeline, okay y'all, like I kid you not. But I don't think it was that good, and I definitely don't think it deserved all of that TikTok hype that it got. However, it was a pretty good storyline, and I would say that it was very relatable for Ren. I really connected a lot with Ren, like feeling like you could relate to her a lot, which made me so enthralled in this story is because she was relatable, because we go through these struggles every single day, and she was hiding behind this mask, and it's hard to hide behind a mask for so long until you find those people that you can unmask in front of. So that's why I like this story. That's where I found my happiness in this story, and not being more because of Misha. Misha was kind of irrelevant to me for most of the story. Like after the second half, he became irrelevant to me, and I didn't like some of the things he did. Anyways, there was a lot going on. I have so many mixed emotions about this book, just like there's so many mixed reviews about this book. The second book I read was Miss Me Forever by Eugene, and this book I loved so much. It was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed this book because 𝚟𝚘𝚘 is now one of my favorite characters. And this book is about 𝚟𝚘𝚘. He moves from this refugee camp in Camp Golhop, and this was in Bhutan, and he lands all the way in Pennsylvania. So that is a ridiculously thousands and thousands of miles away from home, and not even with a single family member except for his grandfather, and left the one who you were closest with, which is your sister. And though the sister was older and he was younger, he still missed his sister a lot throughout the story. I would say that this was such a great read. I thoroughly enjoyed his character. I fought for 𝚟𝚘𝚘𝚘, and I was rooting for him in every way possible throughout the whole story. He truly inspired me to keep going no matter what, to keep your efforts up no matter what comes your way, because there are so many people who will try to knock you down and tell you not to do that, don't do this, stop doing that, isn't it enough? But he just continued to fight for what he wanted, and that is the beautiful thing. I love this story, and I love the plot. I love how thorough it was. I loved how thought out each section was of this book. Like there was 3 parts, I think. Yeah, I think this book was split into 3 parts, and it was like a part of his life in each 3 of those parts, and it was written so nicely. It was written like a diary, kind of. Like it was written in 3rd person, but it was kind of written like a diary, because it was like a little section, and then it was like, you know, those little things in between, and then it was another section, and it just made it so nice because it made me feel like I was reading somebody's diary. Even though it was told in 3rd person, I was still able to feel all of 𝚟𝚘𝚘𝚘's emotions, and so that made me so happy. Read it, guys, it's good. And last but not least for May, I got The Virgin Suicides Down by Eugenides. This was my biggest disappointment so far this year, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie, just like I said in the last video, but this book was not giving. I didn't really like the story, and this one was told in 3rd person, but by an unreliable source, so like it made it so horrible, and it reminds me of The Turn of the Screw, which I had to read my senior year and write a whole final paper about. I'm so sorry, guys. Like I feel like so many people love this genuine classic, but I hated it. I kid you not, I hated this book. There was some good parts in here. I got some story. I kid you not, but like this part of the book, you ended up knowing why these girls ended up all committing suicide. So yeah, these were the 3 books I read in May. Super interesting, super fun. Somewhat a disappointment of a month. I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised I didn't get into a reading slump. I think the only thing that saved it was this one. That is May. Now we're moving on to the 5 books I read in June, which you actually got to see my June TBR, and here is my wrap up for that. I am super excited because these 5 books were too good. I ate it up, and I feel like this was a really good reading month for me. Like, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I loved it. We're starting off with On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous. I think I said Briefly Beautiful when I did my June TBR. I don't know why I wanted to say that so bad, but it's On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous, okay? Anyways, this is by Ocean Vuong, and I ended up listening to the audio of this while also reading it. So I mean, it's not that long of a book to be doing all that, but that's what I did. So this was a good book, y'all. I'm just saying, it was a good book. I enjoyed it. Oh my god, my eyes are so itchy, guys. I'm so sorry. And this was so beautiful, and this was my LGBTQIA+ pick for this month. So I liked it and I loved it, and it wasn't completely all LGBT, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This was like, that didn't come in until like about page 200, I think. So it wasn't all that. I just feel like this was such a powerful story, and once again, this was about Little Dog, and this is technically his letter to his mother, and so she can't read, and I just felt so sad during this book. I cried so many times. Like, there was moments in here I didn't even realize I was crying until I was crying, because I was just like, what? Like, it was so sad. Like, there was this one moment he was just talking about the nail salon. This is real life. This is based on a true story, guys. Like, Vietnamese people come from, like, you know, Vietnam, and they're like mostly immigrants, and then they come in, and like where you go to the nail salon is mostly Vietnamese people. And so I just like was like, wow, like I got to know their story, and like, why do they come here to America to start a life like this, in which they have to stay in a salon for hours just to make money. And I felt for them, because when I go get my nails done by them, or when we go get our nails done by these people, we don't think about their story. It makes you wonder, and it made me question when I read that part, and I was just like, I just started crying my eyes out. I was just like, a mother's duty is so freaking beautiful when they are a mother, okay? A real mother will do anything for their child, and that is what this book showed me. Like, a real mom will do anything it takes to make their child happy. There is some trigger warnings in here, so I would definitely look it up. And so it was so good to just see some relatable subjects and things in which you can just get hate for, and it just felt so beautiful, and I love the story of it all. Not only was it told for his mother, but he told his story, and Little Dog really inspired the heck out of me. I don't know, like, this was an emotional read. Next on the list, we got The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now, this was another one I also did in audio and actually read by myself. This was good. This was good. Let me tell you something, guys. Like, oh my goodness, I think we can all relate to feeling like we're at points in our lives where like everything's going to shit, and we just don't feel like being here anymore, because we feel like I've made so many bad decisions in my life and it's time for me to go. And that is why I related to my girl Nora. Okay, y'all. I just felt, oh my god, this book made me cry sometimes. It was very mysterious. Like, this was a mystery. This was thriller, fantasy, all of that good little stuff in there. It was just like crazy. Like, I was just like, ooh. But yeah, this was a really good book. Like, I just was so in it. And this kind of reminded me of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue a little bit. Like, it kind of related to that a little bit to me. Like, it kind of reminded me of it. Like, whereas you live different lives through different things, and like you're living for so long, but she lived different lives through different books, whereas Addie LaRue was just living life all the way through every century and generation and decade, okay? And so this book kind of reminded me of that, but this was so good because it was like, wow, what is happening? And then like every now and then I was just like, ooh, that's shocking, ooh, that's crazy. The end was such a plot twist, guys. I don't think you understand. Like, you're gonna think it's gonna be one thing, the next minute it won't. The next minute you're gonna think it's one thing, the next minute it won't. I didn't think it was gonna end the way it did. Like, I was just like, oh, she found a life. Did she? I don't know. Like, she was just there were so many times I was thinking like, I finally got it. Yep, I'm right. I was not right. I was wrong all this time. Next on the list we have Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score, and this is the last and final book in the Knock 'Em Out series. This is about Lucian and Sloane. Guys, this was another book I audio read and also read by myself. Mostly audio booked it. I haven't finished tabbing it yet because I kind of stopped tabbing at some point because I was just so in there. But this book was so good. I rated it a 5-star. The whole series is a 5-star for me. This is my favorite book out the whole series, and a lot of people also said that, but it's not because of other people. I'm just telling you, this is my favorite book out the whole story, okay? And by the end of it, I was tearing up. I was crying. I was hurt, heartbroken. I was gone. I was just stressed out. I was going through it, okay? I was having all the emotions in here. I don't want to say that like this book didn't have to be this long, but I think their problem could have been worked out so quickly if only they'd said something. And it wasn't a miscommunication trope. It was just like grudge and like heartbrokenness over something they wish they both had done. Of course, I always loved the Founds family in this book. Like this time we didn't get so much of the town like we did in the first 2 books. Like in the first book, we got a lot of the town. And then the second book, we got a little bit less. And then this book, we didn't really get that much. We actually got more of, for just the adults. You also got a lot more backstory on the other 2 problems and situations and stuff. Even though there was like, felt like there was a lot going on, there really wasn't. And there was some backstory to a little bit of things. And you got a little bit of look into both of their lives. I definitely love these 2. Lucian and Sloan are my favorite. But like I said, I just love all of it together. The Found family, the small town, the connections, the protectiveness, the overprotectiveness, the jealousy, the love, the hate, the angst, and all of that good stuff all together mixed up and just made love. Next up, we have The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. Another 5-star read for me. This one was the start of it all. This was really, really good. I love this, and I truly am in love with Hazelwood now. Like, I don't know what it is. I only read 1 book by her, but that was the same thing that happened when I read Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I'm just sure I'm gonna love this woman. Olive is a PhD student, and she kisses somebody, Adam, who is a professor actually. And so this was kind of crazy story, and this ends up being a fake dating thing. So this is really cute, fun story, and I just enjoyed it. Like, it was so everything to me. It was cute, it was angsty, there were some angering moments in there. I truly loved Olive's friends because they were like so funny. Like, I love how we added not only them 2, but we also get friendships, which is also really nice. I love the fake dating thing that happened in here. And then Adam was so overprotective at some point. Like, he just got to jealousy, he just got to overprotectiveness. He loved this girl hands down from the moment, okay? From the moment. And I just could not stop with the quotes. The quotes in here were so good. As my camera shut off on me on the middle of talking. But anyways, I was saying that the quotes were good. And so altogether, this book was really good. I really love this book, and I would say altogether this was a 5-star for me. And last but not least, this book, Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, was such a good read, guys. Too good to be true. Okay, let me tell you something. This book was amazing, and when I say it was amazing, I feel like this was definitely the best read I had this month because this book was so real to me. Like, if they were the Kardashians, I wouldn't say they're like the Kardashians. I would say they're like stories kind of like, okay, so like if they were the Kardashians, we would all know their tea, their drama, what's going on in their homes, like all of that. And so this was a really good book. Like, I truly enjoyed it, and I definitely 10 out of 10 recommend. This was such an emotional and reflective read. I was crying in moments I wouldn't even think I was crying, you know what I'm saying? Like, I cried in so many parts of this. It was crazy. Like, this is too good. And I hate ᴄʟɪᴜධ. Let me just tell you something. I hated it, and sometimes you just need to listen, June. I felt like there was moments where, like, okay, Mick was like such a green flag at the beginning of dating. It's always when you marry somebody that all the red flags will start coming out. Like, why can't you just be a red flag at the beginning so I could just be like, no, I'm not gonna marry you? That happened. And I also deeply related to Nina, because the feeling of being a big sister who feel like they have to have the all responsibility and they have to take it all on and just feel like they must take care of them, and that is the only thing they must do. What would parents do without a big sister? Anyways, I just would like to say this was a 5-star read for me. I love this book. I love Taylor's writing. I love this. I love this story. I love everything about this book. This was so emotional. This was a reflective, emotional, and challenging read. So yeah, these are all 5 of my reads for this month in June. I would just like to say that I highly recommend every single one of these books that I've read in June because every single one of the books were so good. And now 10 out of 10, I love audiobooks. Audiobooks are now my favorite thing ever. I did not end up mentioning mentioning it, but I did audiobook Malibu Rising as well. Alright my friends, that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know the past few months, or the past 5 months shall I say, have been so fun and just a full range of different types of books and different kind of authors. Anyways, comment down below the blushy face emoji if you made it all the way to the end of today's video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time I post a new video. Remember to be true and be you, and I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Mwah.